Welcome to Salt Lake City for the first of our back-to-back World Cup weekends. Up today we have speed. Qualifiers were this afternoon and we're getting settled in for the final. Whittled the field down to 16. They're gonna climb on this outdoor wall here in Salt Lake City. The sun just going down. My name is Pete Woods. I am joined by coaching and movement specialist Don and Markey. Great to have you here. How's your week been so far?
Oh, my week. It's been very, very warm out here in Salt Lake City. Nearly 30 degrees, the European temperature. I can't tell you what that is in American. But in the last day, we've just had a switch in the weather, and it's become cold and windy, which not so nice for sunbathing, but very nice for climbing.
Yeah, the athletes are going to like it more than the rest of us. And as the sun goes down, as we were saying, it's 8 o'clock here in Salt Lake City. It's going to cool down a little bit. Maybe a little bit of moisture in the air. I don't know that we're going to see some of the super fast times we saw. We had a world record broken here twice in Salt Lake City last year. And then we had world records broken last speed event in Korea just 2 weeks ago. So they are getting faster. The question is, can they put it down tonight on this wall?
I would really like to see something exciting going on tonight. The big thing to think about is it is the start of the season for the speed climbers, and speed is such an intense sport. You get one go. So honestly, you need to get the nerves out. I would imagine as we get through more competitions in the season, they'll be a bit more comfortable in the environment and we'll maybe see some better performances.
Yeah, we're just having a look here at the results here from their qualifying times. You see the time that's highlighted in yellow is the quickest of the two. So they qualify, they get 2 shots at it, they still go head-to-head, but their best time puts them into the bracket. And as you see, this is the full field. Lots of people putting up pretty good times, but you need it to be right around 6 seconds to get into the finals this evening. So the full field here showing you their times. The men's field quite tight. Obviously the very top third is running very, very fast. The world record, as we saw, 5.17. John Brosler today ran 5.2, breaking his own U.S. record. We have a look at the women's field here. Usual suspects sitting at the top.
Very, very cool to see this. And I'm quite excited. You can see such consistency now in speed. I think now with the new Olympic cycle, and it's a separate medal, people are really specializing. And so we're seeing all kinds of new things, consistency and really breaking through into much, much quicker times.
Absolutely. People are training speed as specialists. They don't have to focus on other disciplines. And when we talk about speed, we'll get into it as we go, but speed climbing is not thuggy. Speed climbing has lots and lots of technique rolled into it, so there's a lot to look for. It's a very technique-driven, a very precise speed event. If you're not familiar, we do a knockout bracket. So we have 16 athletes. They go head-to-head, and that's going to take us down to 8 right away, then 4, and then the big and small finals. The women are going to be up first. We're going to run through their whole bracket, and this is what it's going to look like. The pairs go first place, so best qualifying time against 16th qualifying time, and then it goes as a bracket would. You're basically seeded, so then it's second against 15th, and we go all the way through. So that's what you're seeing. The best time of qualifier should have the easiest path through to that podium gold medal final.
You would think so, but they are so close right now that it could go any way.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots to happen in speed. So when you're trying to go all out as fast as you can, now you've opened up the door for tiny mistakes have huge consequences in speed climbing.
Absolutely huge consequences. And because of this knockout format that we have, someone may have gotten by far the fastest time in qualifiers, but knocked out in the first bracket.
Yeah, you can be unlucky, you can false start. If you leave your timing pad before the light goes green, then you're out. One false start and you're out. In the qualifiers, you've got 2 shots at it, but once we're into this round, it's one and done. Our first pairing, it's just gonna go, man. Speed goes really, really quickly, as you might expect. Alexandra Miroslav, the favorite, the world record holder in lane A on your left. She's gonna be up against Karin Hayashi from Japan, who climbed quite well this afternoon, put up a couple of good consistent times. You're gonna see them get set up, move their pad over, and then when that timer goes, they are away.
Gonna watch a world record holder show how it's done.
Really good start from both women. Alexandra there picking it up in the middle. It's gonna be, yeah, she's not gonna be pushed very hard. She's gonna get out with a pretty pedestrian time for her at 7.087 seconds. She does hold the world record at 6.64 and ran 6.8 in qualifiers. So for her, that's a time good enough maybe to stay ahead of Karen to get through. You just have to beat the person beside you. It doesn't matter what your times are once we get down into this bracket.
Safe bets down here. Just need to get through. You have to run this extremely powerful route 4 times in a row. You need to save some energy.
Yeah, true. And they don't have a lot of rest. They only have the round to get back into it. You see there, what you're looking for is the big green numbers at the top. That means you hit the pad and you are ahead. So up next, we're gonna have Andrea Rojas from Ecuador and Tatiana Kolkutina from the Ukraine on your right. Sorry, I got the lanes reversed. Andrea's gonna be on your right and Tatiana will be on the left.
Ritter on the left from Germany.
That is not the order that we are looking at.
So best time from Francisca, 7.5. We would expect her to be the favorite. Let's see now.
On a much better start and a slip from Francisca. Andrea now just knowing her competitor has come off the wall, just needs to get to the top. You see them slow way down to ensure that.
But for sure, a certain amount of mental balance. You don't want to just statically climb up. You actually need to keep in this intense headspace because you've got to really push it the next round.
Yeah, and you want to kind of be on your groove, so you want to be improving every time through. You don't necessarily want to take your foot all the way off the gas. Just waiting for the next two to come out, so we, you know, can't always see what's going on behind the screen.
It must be a very intense place to stand there.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch them when they're qualifying. They generally will stand back there and they'll close their eyes, mime the start hold, and time that 1, 2, 3, go. It's the same every single time, so you get used to the pacing of the buzzer, and you have a look for that green light.
You really can't visualize the route beforehand, so you just run that through your head again and again and again.
At your marks.
All right, Nuria Brockfield on your right and Aurelia Sarson on your left from France. We go, an excellent start from both women. This is quite through the middle here. Nuria keeping it interesting. Aurelia now pulling away, and she, yes, very, very confident at the top. No mistakes on that run at all.
Excellent push there. Now we're seeing some races. I always forget that you really do head to head. Your eyes are darting between the athletes.
Yeah, it is the most dynamic of the 3 disciplines. And the most, you know, when we boulder, we're against the others, but you're trying to top boulders, you know, lead, you're trying to top the route. But, you know, speed climbing it is head to head. You just have to win and move on. So it's the most, you know, closely knit competitive side of our sport, and you are shoulder to shoulder with the person that you've got to beat.
Yeah, we don't have this in the other disciplines. You're out there on your own. It's the only one where you've got someone to look at and have a sense of intensity and competition with.
Yeah, and you know, right? You know their times. You know how good they've been climbing in the qualifier, so you know what you've got to do. If their best time is better than your best time, you've got to run out of your skin.
Out of your skin. So, and that is consistently, athlete on the left has the quicker time, athlete on the right has it all to play for.
Natalia Kalutska on the left and Victoire Andrier on your right.
Ready?
Here we go, a good clean start. Natalia pulling away here in the first third. Maybe a little bit slow in the middle, but she's going to stay ahead. 7.82, a pretty good time. Quite a bit slower, you see, from her personal best there at 7.07. But enough to get through.
Did a really good job of maintaining her momentum. You could see Victoire just a little bit slower from the start, wasn't quite able to catch all the way up, but Natalia had a good start, slowed down a little bit, but maintained that first place.
And it's, you know, things to pay attention to if you're not super familiar with speed climbing. The start, of course, is arguably the most important part. If you get away to a good, clean start explosively, you want to carry as much of that momentum as possible. Have a look there. The middle is where you start to speed up, and then the top third is maybe the trickiest part of the speed route, and then you have to time that last dyno. So definitely pay attention and watch. Different athletes have different hand positions and different opening sequences. So very interesting to see what people settle on. So I encourage you to have a look at where their hands are. I encourage you to watch whether they're in line or whether they have a swing left to right on their start. So very interesting bits and pieces of technique. Piper Kelly on your right and Alexandra Kalutska on lane A on your left. Here we go, a good start from Piper, got that swing into the momentum, but Alexandra just too fast through the middle. She's gonna hang on for a win there, 7-4-7.
Just a bit too much of a push to the left from Piper Kelly, but Alexandra, such a great start and able to keep that going all the way through. You mentioned before about climbers using different techniques in the speed. The first one I always notice and find really interesting is where they keep the belay rope. Is it front or back? It's always different.
Yeah, people have to decide. They tuck it under their arm, they don't tuck it under their arm. And what also interesting is they get to move the foot pad that sort of registers their, that's what we do to start the clock from them as soon as they leave that compression pad. They're allowed to move it to wherever they want. So because the climbers all are different sizes, you see that the gray squares on the ground, they'll get into their starting position and they'll mark that floor where they want to put their start pad so they can be in the ideal spot for them. And you can grab either of those two start holds for your start. You don't have to be on the lower one. You don't have to be split. This is one of those moments where they make their decision about how they want to start. Beatrice Colli on their left and Capucine Viglione will be on the right. Very close personal best times. Beatrice.
Great start from Beatrice there, though.
Yeah, Capucine keeping it very exciting in the middle. This one is going to be, oh, and a little slip.
Slip from Capucine.
That one was neck and neck through the middle third.
That was very, very close. And now as we get to the end of the bracket and the athletes are more evenly paired, we will see a bit of a change in the events.
Yeah, they'll be much closer matched. 7.7, she is excited. A really great look at that the distance they have to travel on that last move.
It's the best part, they end with a dyno. You just must end in the air. No control, you go, that's it, throw it all in, that's you.
Yeah, it is you're right, it maybe is the best part, is that you've got to finish coming out into the world. All right, and you hear maybe you hear in the background a little buzz from the Salt Lake crowd. That's favorite and current USA climbing speed record holder, Emma Hunt. She has been close, silver medal in Seoul, so she knows what it takes to get up this wall, get herself a place near that podium. She's going to be up against Tetiana Kolkotina from Ukraine. Emma Hunt all to play for here.
Ready?
And a great start from her, yes. And then, oh, a slip from
Big
Emma Hunt.
Slip.
Tatiana
But she's catching back up.
She is catching back up. It's going to be close, and Emma Hunt, oh my goodness, manages to come back and secure her spot into the next round.
Wow. Close round there. That is one of the amazing skills of speed climbing that we forget they train to recover from mistakes. You think they must just do the route perfect, which is always the main aim, but to make a slip and recover like that and still come ahead is so amazing.
And in that recovery, you're going faster than your normal speed. You are now everything you've got, and you open the door up for another. We often see that. Someone with another slip while they're recovering and speeding up to try and catch up and make up that ground. But Emma Hunt really, really dug deep into her training, mental, muscle memory there and just put it together. That was very exciting. is going to be our last pairing of the round of 16. You're going to have Patrizia Chudziak on your left in lane A, Giulia Randi from Italy on the
At your
right.
marks.
You can see the personal bests are very close, so hopefully
Ready?
we see a close race now.
As you requested, they are moving very, very close. Giulia maybe was ahead in the middle, but Patrizia catching up. 7-9 and 8-1. That is in fact a close race.
That was a great pull ahead from Patrizia. Unfortunately, Giulia had a slip in the bottom third, the end of the bottom third there, and couldn't quite get her
just
momentum
there.
up again.
And very, very close. I mean, they were.
Wow.
Yeah, just a couple of tenths of a second. Hard to spot with a live speed, but easy to see on the replay. All right, so that's going to do it to this point. So your quarterfinal is going to be Alexandra Miroslav against sorry, I've just lost my list here. Andrea Rojas, and then Sarason versus Kolutska, and then the other Kolutska versus Koli, and then Hunt versus Chudziak will be rounding out your quarterfinal. It goes very quickly. We go 16, 8, 4, and then boom, we're into the podium round. So don't leave your screen. All right, we're going to have a look at the men's bracket. This is what we're going to see on the round of 16. So there are your first pairings. Quite a lot of American flags in that list. The hometown gentlemen climbed well today. Brosler against Ofrancia, Bracci against Jenski, Noya Cardona versus Watson, Leonardo and Rebreño, Katibin and Zuda. Have a look. That's Katibin, the world record holder. Grania against Moro, Muratov against Pitcher, Fossili and Ernstberger. So a good representation. A couple of the best in the world right now. Those are your Indonesian climbers. They are the world record holders. They are endlessly in the final round, and they're putting up unbelievable times. Approaching the 5-second barrier.
Approaching the 5-second barrier. Everyone's wondering, everyone's thinking, is it going to be broken? And one of the favorites that could be having a good crack at it now, walking out first place, John Brosler.
Yeah,
An amazing qualification.
Exactly. He went 5.3 to break the American record, and then in his second qualifier, he went 5.20 to break it again. And I chatted with him a little bit after his qualifier, and he was excited to be back out and competing for a gold medal. And I asked him, of course, did he think he could go faster? And of course, he thinks he can.
As
so if he
always.
can put it together, he did acknowledge that, you know, at this point, it's about beating the man beside you. But I'm excited to see what John is going to put down. He's been doing crazy good things in speed this year. Clean start, John, but just look at the movement, how clean it is here. Sort of measured in control. Pretty solidly ahead of Quinn the whole way.
You could see John there actually taking a bit of time and a breath towards the end, but wow, I have seen very few quick starts as that was exploding from the first move. It was really amazing to watch John there.
And you see him here, he doesn't choose to dyno that last move on that run. So that was part of his maybe slowing down. Just very measured, just making sure.
In that last surge, you could nearly see a little bit more thought coming through. He's got to do this 3 more times.
Yep.
Ideally.
Ideally. Best case scenario, 3 more times. So you're going to have now Noah Bracci on your left. And you're going to have Marcin Jenski from Poland. That is they're in the wrong lanes. Everyone else was correct, and they were in the wrong lane. I had a moment there where have we got it? No, we got it.
They've committed to
Yeah.
those lanes now.
Yeah,
So
now we're
just
in,
go
so they've
by
stayed
the
there, so-
national tops.
Yeah.
Trust they haven't swapped T-shirts
Yeah, they-
before rocking out.
No, and Noah Bracci, he's a big man. He's one of the largest in the men's field for speed
At your
climbing.
marks.
So that'll be Noah on your left and Marcin will be on your right.
Ready?
A really good start from Bo. Oh, Marcin just a stumble, and Noah, as long as he keeps it together, yeah, great
Big
time.
slip there. You could almost see Marcin watching Noah race ahead and that hesitation. It's so hard to come back after that.
And it's one thing you wonder how much of that look to your left, look to your right do you do at the beginning of the route? And does it throw you off if you're worried and you're looking at your competitor instead of your lane?
I'm sure it's impossible not to. And there are often scenarios where both competitors are slipping and you actually have a second chance to catch back up.
Yeah, it's the great just stay in, never give up, and you never know what's going to happen on a speed run.
Finding just the right place for the pad there. This is quite consistent in all of climbing. Actually makes a difference where your foot leaving the ground is. It totally changes your center of gravity and balance. You want to be perfectly underneath the start hold so you can apply force directly upwards. You don't fall into the wall or fall out from the wall. You go directly upwards.
This is about that momentum and speed, conservation of movement. Eric Noya Cardona in lane A and Samuel Watson in lane B. Eric, excellent start from Sam Watson. He's staying ahead here. This looks like it's going to be Samuel Watson, and it is. Eric missing the pad at the top, but Sam had him anyway. A great run.
What a great one.
Ahead of his
5.816.
personal best.
Yes. Trying to go for the bump, didn't make it.
Swinging at different times, but you see him get off to an excellent start.
It was a very, very good start. And the top of that first third of the route, he pulled ahead very, very well.
And even, I mean, unfortunate for Eric to have that slip, but even without it, Sam Watson was ahead there. So that's every now and then there's an upset, and this is an upset according to their qualifying times today. All right, keep your eye on the left side of your screen. Anytime you see an Indonesian jersey come out, that is where you want to be paying attention. They are the best in the world at speed climbing right now, and they just look different when they're on that route. Vedric Leonardo here on your left. He's going to go up against Pierre Rebriand from France. You see the focus here, but just I encourage you to watch their shoulders and watch how quickly his feet move. And that's the difference between 5'8" and 5'2".
Ready?
Very good start from Pierre, but this is where Vedric is going to start to take off. Even with a slip, he's going to come in at 5.48. So that's maybe him throttling it back a little bit.
Throttling back. Such a crazy thought to think, but maybe he is 0.2 seconds behind his personal best, but his flow was fantastic through there. And when you're watching speed, you want to see the line of the hips and the core of the body. Is that straight? Vedric, very excellent demonstration of how to do this.
And you see even his start position. He starts almost directly underneath the start holds, and a lot of climbers will choose to start a little bit to the right and take that kind of swing. And he generates enough power statically to not even need that little shift.
It is so much more power to generate from this position. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, and you'll see it here from Kiramal Katibin on the left, your world record holder, and Gianluca Zoda on the right. But just, yeah, have a look at the difference in their start positions.
Now,
Really
let's
is an
have a
impressive
see.
way.
We could lose the current world record holder in the first round.
This is a close race. Kiramal there taking off, comfortably getting ahead of Gianluca. 5.4 for him.
That
fairly
did
average.
look quite comfortable for him. At the start, it looked like he almost over-jumped, took a big swing to the left, but then in the middle, he nearly looked relaxed, but kept going faster. Really amazing to watch.
Just the precision of the foot placements, that smear on the right is super important.
So, so cool. Next step.
All right, we're about halfway through this field. Your next pairing, Carlos Grania is going to be on your left. And Guillaume Moreau will be on your right.
Again, now we're getting to the later part of the final where their qualification times are very close, so we could be seeing mix-ups.
And even here you see Guillaume with the best, faster personal best. Carlos with the better qualifying time. And Guillaume off to a slightly better start and a slip in the middle. Unfortunate from Guillaume. He's going to make a good run, but Carlos is going to take that one away. Guillaume was ahead, and then just a slip in the middle third.
I wonder if Carlos knew that or not. Did he get time to see that slip and try to relax a little bit because he knows he's got to do this again? Or is he just going as fast as he can because he also knows this could be it? He could be out now. It's a close match.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he just kept the throttle down. I think he was going full speed the whole time. When you start to pull ahead, maybe you lose that angle of your peripheral vision. All right, this pairing is going to be Amir Meiringen on the left, and then the Canadian, the Seoul Canadian, competing and making it into this round. It's going to be Ethan Flynn Pitcher. So he's the current Canadian record holder.
At your mark.
A big difference between our personal bests here.
Yeah, that one is now incorrect. He has come under 6 seconds.
Ah.
He ran 6.0 in the qualifier today.
Well, not a big difference. Let's have a see.
Yeah. So pretty good start on the left from Amir, but Ethan, oh no! That was neck and neck. A slip from Ethan just leaving the middle third. Amir is going to take it.
5-8. You could see as well, Ethan almost anguished as he knew he'd lost it. I think he was quite happy with how he was doing, and then big upset there, not part of the plan.
No, and yeah, just unfortunate, and that's part of this game. He did put down an excellent run in qualifying to earn his way in. So he'll be happy to have made a final. Most definitely.
As he should be.
All right, your last pairing in the men's round of 16 is going to put Ludovico Fossali up against Merritt Ernsberger. The Italian will be on the left, and Merritt, American, will be in lane B on the right.
Must be so hard to gather yourself in this position, as you know you've got one good chance. This is the thing, we always compare speed climbing to bouldering and lead climbing. You have much less room for error, much less room for error.
And Merritt put up his personal best today in qualifying, so he's on the right trajectory. Off to an excellent start. Merritt on your right. This is neck and neck. This one's going to be, oh, a little stumble from Merritt gives Ludovico the window to come through and take the win, but that one was close the whole way.
Very, very close. Merritt found such a good flow through the middle, and then this last move, that right toe slips off, the knee seems to twist not in the direction he wanted to, and then failed to make it all the way up to the last, the touchpad.
And such a perfect highlight. That's not even I mean, it's a tiny slip. He doesn't leave the wall. He doesn't swing out. It doesn't stop him in his tracks. But that's all it takes.
Tiny slip. If anything, it just sent his knee in the wrong direction, so he couldn't generate the force with the big muscles down the back of the leg that he needs to.
And this is going to set up your quarter-final. So Brosler versus Bracci, Leonardo against Watson, Katibin and Grania, and Memiratov and Fossali are going to be your quarter-final. So we'll come back to those. We're going to do the women's quarter-final first. We get that rest time between their rounds.
This is the sport that you really need to have rested for. It is just your absolute power. It's that less than 10 seconds of energy, and your body needs a bit of time to recover that.
Yeah, if you don't watch a lot of speed climbing, we draw the parallel between the 100 meters as the shortest, fastest event in the track and field, and it is exactly that. You are draining that fast energy system, and it although it's only 5 or 6 seconds, you do need time to recover and get that energy system back up and running.
Up and running to perform at your absolute best. As well, there's a great argument for giving your brain a rest. You are going through so many variables at the same time in terms of trying to hit the right holes while exploding as much as you can. Such high risk you're dealing with. It's a lot.
It is. You're right. It's a lot. That is well summarized to everything that's going on. Okay, so we're going to start off the pairings again with the fastest, the favorite, if you will. It's going to be Alexandra Miroslav. She is going to be in the preferred lane A. And Andrea Rojas will be her competition on the right side.
Getting ready, Alexandra. That push, that absolute determination. Now she does have to push a bit harder as it gets closer.
A really good start from Andrea. She's going to make it close at the beginning, but this is where Alexandra really shines. Her technique through the middle, flawless there. 7.06 to punch her ticket into the semi-final.
We're not far off from the personal best. When you look at the numbers like that, you think it's quite far. You're like 4.4 away, that's a lot. This is really not a lot. 0.4 of a second. You're not working with much.
No, it's the smallest slip, a little extra push, a little bit better at timing, and that's going to make the difference. All right, our next pairing in the quarter-final is going to be from France. On your left, Aurelia Sarisson, and on the right, it's going to be Natalia Kolutska from Poland.
Ready?
Really good start from Natalia, and a slip from Aurelia.
Big slip from Aurelia. She has already accepted her fate.
And Natalia hangs on, does what needs to be done to get through. Aurelia, of course, will be disappointed with that slip right at the beginning. It is one of the hardest moves on the route, so you have to go all in. So much to focus on at the start. You're thinking about the timing. You're thinking about your timing of leaving the mat, and then you have to get your coordination going immediately. You see a lot of slips coming right out of the gate.
Most commonplace. Here we have a replay. Just not getting that pull up so that she can get her feet over onto the wall. The famous move known as the Tomoa skip. She couldn't pull up far enough to put her feet beside her hands. Unfortunately, didn't make it work.
And it's not all the women do the Tomoa skip. It is a high power and high coordination move. We'll see it almost exclusively on the men's side, but just watch that. It's a hand-foot match on the third hold of the route. And it takes a lot of coordination and a lot of timing. All right. Patricia Chudziak on the left, and Beatrice Coley will be on your right. Oh, my apologies, I got that. That's Alexandra Kaluta.
Ready?
Well, better start from Beatrice.
Great start
Oh,
from Beatrice,
no.
and she's off. You could see there the anguish. She realized what had happened. Fully off. Not able to even grab and recover.
No, just ejected right away. Unfortunate for her.
Big slip from Beatrice.
Would have been Alexandra, you know, a little bit behind at the beginning. Would she have been able to catch her? We'll never know, but she did put together a good run.
There
right
we
there.
see, just missed grabbing the hold, and you could see the disappointment and frustration in her face. Such a simple mistake. When you're juggling so much in such a high pressure situation, these mistakes do happen.
And it's well pointed out that immediate anguish, the hands come up to the head because you know that that's it.
That is everything finished now.
The one and done adds so much pressure. You see frustration and emotion in bouldering and lead, of course, as well, but here it's on display immediately.
Immediately.
All right, crowd favorite hometown, Emma Hunt from the USA will be in lane A, and this Patricia Chudziak from Poland on the right. Emma Hunt trying to get towards her second
At your marks.
podium look of the season.
Ready?
Much different starting positions, and Patricia looked better right away, but Emma Hunt, just through that second and third move, pulled ahead and stayed ahead.
Slip from Patricia in that top third, but it did look like she was struggling to get her momentum, whereas Emma, really a bit of a slower start, but then straight into it and attacking all the way up.
And then I think she might have even seen the slip at the top of the middle third, and she definitely was very, very careful to make sure she did the last move.
So funny to see the interaction between the athletes. With the isolation formats, you don't see this as much in the other disciplines.
Yeah, they don't get, they're not so face to face. They sort of wave at each other sometimes, but here you see it all. So those are the times. Moving on is going to be Alexandra and Alexandra. And Emma Hunt. We are going to get into the men's side now on the quarterfinal. And we'll talk about it. You see it there on the right side. We have a small final and then the final. So we don't just hand out bronze medals in speed. We have to have a pair to race. So we race for third and fourth, and we race for gold and silver. So that's what that small final is on the right. So that's going to be as you come in off of your semifinal. The winners go to the final, and the losing pair from the semifinals end up in the small final with a shot at that bronze medal. So here's a look at your quarterfinal bracket, as we mentioned before. Brosser and Bracci, the Americans, Leonardo and Watson, Katiban and Grania, and Nemiratov and Fosali will round out that quarter-final pairing.
There's a lot of big names now, starting to recognize who's appearing in this quarter bracket.
Yeah, the heavy hitters have come through. They are pretty much as expected here. So a little hometown battle right off the bat. John Brosler and Noah Bracci. John has been owning that mustache for quite some time now.
Quite the recognizable mustache. I guess if you're trying to make yourself as an athlete, you see a lot of them going for some sort of recognizable. Maybe they're taking it from football, the soccer, as you say here.
Oh, an excellent start from Noah. Oh my goodness, Noah Bracci on a storm here. And John, definitely not one of his best runs, but Noah Bracci getting it done. 5.7.
Is that a new personal best for Noah?
Could be. John Brosler, a wave to the crowd. Obviously disappointed, you know, maybe expecting, the crowd expecting him to make his way into the final, but he was behind the whole way.
Yeah, after those qualification results, we really did hope to see maybe even potentially 0.3 second, point, 0.03 seconds from a world record. We wanted to see another one broken, but not by John tonight.
Unfortunately, not by John tonight. You are correct. So, a great run. How do you, when you're cheering for USA versus USA here in Salt Lake City, you're happy with the result no matter what? Right.
Running over to the wall.
Just keeping that energy up, trying to stay warm maybe, keeping those muscles firing. Sam Watson. It's going to be against Vedrick Leonardo. Oh, quick discussion about...
Question, who should be in which lane? I guess they figured it out okay.
Figured it out.
Sam did run out. It must be quite hard to tell yourself you're about to race one of the fastest people in the world.
Yeah.
Better do a good job.
You definitely have to come into it knowing that you have to have the best run of your life, and he has to probably make a mistake. But we saw that. John Brosler, Noah Bracci, we just saw the best American speed climber make a mistake. So it's possible. The door gets opened.
That is the interesting part, because it is not just based off qualification times. This knockout means things can change up.
Sam and Vedrick. A good start from Sam, but Vedrick Leonardo here showing his experience and pace through the middle. For him, a very pedestrian time of 5.6, but definitely enough to get through to that semi-final.
Did lose Sam to a slip there on the left. So not enough, and now he is unfortunately out for the rest of the competition. The brutality of speed climbing.
Yeah, it doesn't provide a lot of room for second chances. Doesn't provide a lot of room to hide. You're well on display. There's only one thing to watch, and then you have to slowly come down on the auto belay. So you even if you make a terrible mistake near the top, you have 2 or 3 seconds of in your run. You see them, people already looking up as they're on the way down. They know where they made the mistake.
They really highlight the lament, you could say.
There's nowhere to go. So Carlos Grania will be on your right, and he is going to be up against Kiramal Katibin, the fastest man in the world.
Let's see, we are entering the territory of potentially seeing a new world record break, so these are the races that you want to keep your eyes peeled on.
Yeah, every time he steps onto the timing mat, the phones come out. You don't want to be the person that missed the world record. And you never know when it's going to come up.
Ready?
Explosive start from both men. Carlos with an excellent pace through the middle here. Kiramal has to turn it up and does.
Wow, he really did turn it up there. That was amazing. Carlos looked like he was about to get ahead. Kiramal just turned something else on there.
He found that next gear right about here.
Big jump there, and just able to continue pulling with that momentum and rocket ahead.
That shows you why he sits at the top of the speed record.
It almost looks like the caliber of these athletes. It's management. He just knows he has to get to the final. He's not going to break any world records yet. Maybe he wants to give us a show.
Oh, that's entirely possible. You see him? He did shrug a little bit when he was coming off. He was like, whoo, took a breath. All right, our last pairing of this quarter-final round. We've got Amir Memoratov and Ludovico Fossali.
At your marks.
There he is,
Calmly miming the route out.
visualizing getting one more run in. One last look
Ready?
at his notes before the exam.
Oh, perfect start on the, oh, and a slip right away.
Big slip from Amir and a big hesitation. He has lost the ability
Wow.
to regain his time there, unfortunately. Could see, I've seen athletes taking big slips, but getting back on, Amir had a big hesitation there. Must have been more of a slip than he felt able to deal with.
And he ran up pretty hard towards the end, but just you see here, very careful finish from Ludovico, knowing that he had that one. So yeah, an unfortunate slip from Amir. And you're right, that the difference between the scramble right away to keep that rhythm going and the, dang, I'm not gonna be able to make up this ground was evident there. So that's gonna set up our semifinal. Leonardo and Bracci, Tibin and Fossali. I love that we've set up perhaps the Indonesian big final.
Oh, wow. Very, very
Love to see them
exciting.
race against each other. And you know, they train together, they're head-to-head so often.
But that maybe this could even push them to get to a point where we are breaking new records. That's what we're always looking for in speed climbing. Breaking new records and potentially breaking that 5-second mark.
And I'm wondering if maybe the wall is running a bit slow this evening. We haven't seen anything even really approaching a lot of their qualifying times, so there's maybe some moisture in the air. I know that speed climbing is even you know, as sensitive as bouldering and lead are. The holds retain moisture, so it's possible that we're running a bit of a slower wall than we were this afternoon.
That would make sense, especially you have to explode so much, and even minute differences in the friction you generate from each hold will affect the time that you produce.
Yeah. So that's going to be our semi-final on the women's side. Is going to run first, and we're going to do a presentation of the athletes. We bring out the semi-finalists, and we reintroduce them to the crowd, and then we get right back into it. You see here, look, wearing gloves. That should tell you something.
Very well prepared, keeping those limbs warm. Your hands are actually one of the main parts of your body that loses heat, so some big gloves like that will keep the whole body a bit higher.
You see every opportunity for Poland to sweep a podium. 3 Polish climbers and the lone American on the women's side. And you see the 2 Indonesian in the middle. And then Noah and Ludovico.
Very exciting to see so many different morphologies here. We would argue a lot in bouldering and lead climbing that everyone finds their own method through the climb, but it is just as relevant here in speed climbing. Even more so, you can argue, when they're all in the same route, but they must deal with it in different ways.
Yeah, there's something to be said for not necessarily how tall or how short you are, but how powerful and how quick you are. You have to be able to move your hands and feet very, very quickly, and you need that explosivity off the start and then through the middle for those 2 dynamic movements. So if you're taller and still able to coil up and generate that momentum in your legs, that's going to be an advantage, but mostly because you're more powerful, not necessarily because you're taller.
Yep, exactly. And some of the most exciting parts I find watching these competitions are those single explosive moments. And I really think, wow, I didn't know a human could move that fast.
Yeah, and I really like when you watch, as we get into the, you know, the semifinals here, the small amount of left to right movement as they come up the route. So when you watch earlier and climbers were still getting to speed climbing and maybe sort of that middle of the field, there's a lot of left to right movement to get across the holds. The route does zigzag up the wall, and the path of least resistance is straight up the middle if you can do it. But it is the hardest thing to do because your feet are out away from your center of gravity. So you have to be able to apply force not right below, as we teach people. You know, if you want to be generating momentum, you need to have your feet under your butt. And here, the route isn't designed for that, and they make it work anyway.
And further to your point, when you have to stand or grab a hold that is out from your center, you're essentially grabbing it in peripheral vision or standing in peripheral vision. One of the most impressive parts in speed climbing, for sure, is their ability to hit the footholds consistently and precisely every time. And they don't have the time to turn around and look at them. They're going.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you practice it, you know, in the hundreds and hundreds of repetitions, they make it look not easy, but they make it look very routine. The muscle memory is there, but it's still, it doesn't take away from how impressive it is for them to, as you say, move in their peripheral vision and not make mistakes.
I do wonder, as we get to these top levels, I wonder how many athletes know their capacity and try to hold back so that they have that energy left for the final, essentially turning it into a routine.
Alexandra Miroslav on the left, Natalia Kolutska on the right. A bit of a slower start from Alexandra, but oh my goodness.
Both athletes taking a slip now. Alexandra, though, higher up, realizes that she has the lead there. Unfortunately, Natalia, a little slip at the start. You could see she didn't get off the line the way that she wanted to, and her flow, her headspace wasn't quite right. A bigger slip, and then she was out.
Yeah, and I mean, you almost wonder if she'd had a slightly smaller slip and be able to hang on, could she have overtaken Alexandra when she had a slip?
Very, very possible there. Unexpected to see two athletes slipping.
And even though Alexandra wins her way into the big final, you could see her disappointment with the mistakes. You want to be getting rid of mistakes at this point in the competition. You want to be running closer and closer to that autopilot.
Autopilot. Unfortunately, you do. I think we might be seeing more and more mistakes in the final when the athletes know they have to push harder than they ever have before, and that's exactly when the mistakes start opening up.
Right, Emma Hunt, big roar from the crowd. She is going to be up against Alexandra Lutska. Oh, eyes closed.
Look at the personal bests there. Woo, not 2 of a second apart. This could be exciting.
Not much to choose between them. Good start from both women. Emma Hunt here looking very smooth. Alexandra, it's neck and neck. Who are we going to see at the top? Wow! Very, very close. Less than 1/10 of a second between Alexandra and Emma, and Alexandra's going to get her way into the big final. Emma Hunt so very close. I don't know that she even made any mistakes.
So close. You could see the heads. The one on the left is higher, the one on the right is higher. That was so close.
And to our, you know, at full speed, they look like they touched the finish pad at the same time. Wow, that was excellent. So remember, we see all of them again. That's our semifinal. That's how we split into the big and small final. So Emma will have a chance at a medal still.
Now this looks like we've got 2 very potential podium competitors now up to compete. Noah on the left has removed our favorite from the competition.
At your mark.
Vedrik is no pushover.
Vedrik will be looking to get back into that gold medal race.
Ready.
As expected, an excellent start from Vedrik, and you see him here. Oh my goodness!
Big slip from Vedrik. Not expected at all.
My goodness, no. Noah Bracci, to his credit, of course, kept it together, was running an excellent run. 5.6.
Looks like he's broken his personal best.
He is putting it together when it counts here. Vedrik will be very disappointed in that slip.
Very much had the momentum in the middle and lost it in that slip.
Right?
There it is, left foot above the left hand hold. Didn't quite connect with the ball that it needs to, and off completely. The slips matter so much more because you have sometimes no other points of contact. The only part of his body on the wall might have been that left foot for a second. And if it doesn't connect, you're gone.
And that's exactly what you were talking about before, is that you're moving in peripheral vision. You're not looking down. You are remembering where that foothold is. You're remembering the angle, you're remembering the timing. So I'm never surprised when I'm always disappointed, but I'm never surprised when I see a slip because there's so much in it. All right, our second semifinal pairing here, Kiramel Katibin on the left and Ludovico Fossali on the right.
Both the athletes, you can see their eyes are closed. They are visualizing the route.
So very different positions of that start pad. Excellent start from Ludovico. Kiramel Katibin needs to turn it up.
Slip again. We are seeing a lot of slips. It must be a mix of the intense headspace, but potentially you're all right. There is some moisture in the air. This could be a factor. The other disciplines, bouldering lead, we have quite good knowledge on how conditions affect it. Speed being a new sport, maybe we are going to learn that conditions are having a significant impact in the times that we'll see.
And we know we want to run them later at night because they don't want to be in full sun. When the holds get hot and the wall gets hot, that's not good either. So here we go. This is going to be your small and big final. Hunt against Kalutska and Miroslav against Kalutska. We'll be going for gold and silver. So in the small final, it's bronze and fourth. And in the big final, you're going to get the split between the gold and silver medal. So almost as expected when you look down the bracket, that top position, that first seed, getting all the way through, and then a much bigger switch up on the men's side. Katibin and Bracci are going to go for gold and silver. Leonardo and Fossali will be in small finals. So a couple of surprises, but all very, very fast climbers.
Yeah, you can see there is so little between these climbers' times from even the qualifications. So as they go through the brackets, there's much more opportunity for changes to happen.
Yeah, you see, as you say, the times there, Noah coming in at 5.6 from that last round, and Katibin at 5.4, which is still a couple of tenths off his personal best, but you can't always run. I mean, only because of how they've been climbing recently have we sort of been almost expecting them to just get faster at every competition. So
yes,
the question has been raised on the men's side about breaking the 5-second barrier. An entire, 1.5 tenths of a second, it's a big difference. So, how long did it take to break 10 seconds on the 100 meters? How long does it take to break high jump records, long jump records? We start to near the edge of sort of human capability.
Yeah.
And the women are approaching it too. So the questions become, how much closer can you get down to 6 seconds? And not much separates the men's field and the women's field. No, it's less than 2 seconds.
Not much, which really shows climbing is one of very few sports where the male and female capacities are so equal. It's one of my favorite parts by far about the sport.
All right, this is your small final. So for the bronze medal, Emma Hunt on the right and Natalia Kalutska on the left.
Ready?
Settled on the start pads. Very good start from both women. Emma Hunt a little bit ahead here in the middle. Natalia, can she catch up? She is. It's going to be close at the top. Natalia Kalutska. She's going to take your bronze medal by only a handful of hundredths of a second.
What a close race. It looked like we had the slightest foot slip from Emma Hunt on the right coming up to that top third of the climb, and that might have made the difference. Even the slightest slip, less than a tenth of a second between them.
Wow, that's what you want to see in a medal race. Is it's coming down to no mistakes, and you get the fastest time and only just. I mean, everything was in it up until the touch of the pad. Excellent climbing from both women. That was exciting. This is why we like speed. Okay, small final on the men's side. Vedric Leonardo is going to be up against Ludovico Fossali. And Vedric, he just looks like he's ready to come out and avenge his slip in the semifinal.
They are two of the fastest men in the world, going for third place at the speed climbing final in Salt Lake City.
Ready?
Here we go. Explosive start from Ludovico. He's been looking good on all, and they slipped in the same spot as last time. Vedric Leonardo keeps it together, comes in cleanly for his bronze medal. I can't tell if he's excited for bronze or disappointed that he knows he wishes he was in the gold medal round. He looks more disappointed than excited.
It's quite hard to tell. We did have this conversation with Yanya before, who you would think is expecting to be in top place every single time, but actually she's still grateful and still finds it so meaningful to be winning. You'd think she'd be tired, and I think we're seeing the same here in speed.
He's like, he knows he wants to be competing for a gold medal every time, as everyone does. This is highlighted so much more here because in Boulder, we don't really know until we're near the end of a round what's going to happen to the podium. But here you know right away, like you know that you're not going to get a gold medal, but you still need to turn it up and win yourself a bronze.
Yep.
So it's hard to bring that back together for sure. All right, this is your gold medal run. A couple of Polish teammates, Aleksandra Miroslav, your current world record holder, and Aleksandra Kalutzka on the right.
Ready?
A bit of a slower start for Miroslav, but right away turns the pace up. Maybe a little half slip there, but she is going to take it all the way through. Gold for Aleksandra Miroslav here in Salt Lake City. That's back-to-back. Gold in Korea a couple of weeks ago as well. And there you see a wave to the crowd. A really good run for the gold medal.
Seemed like a slow start, but if you actually look, she came exceptionally close to her personal best, which just goes to show what the potential is there.
I wonder, we've seen it through every race where her start is a step behind her competitor and then she immediately turns it up. So maybe, for her, it's not in the very, very first move. She just gets off the ground cleanly and then dials it up. 6.9, it's a good time for her. All right, the American crowd is loving seeing that USA jersey in the gold medal race, but he is up against it. This is going to be huge for Noah if he can pull out something against Kira Mal, your world record holder. So, Noah Bracci has made the best of every opportunity through this whole bracket. Kira Mal Katiban has made almost no mistakes. This is your gold medal run.
Stay tuned. I'm not looking away.
Ready?
Oh, good start from Noah again, and then a slip right
Big
away.
slip from Noah. Beyond recoverable.
Unfortunate from him, but he knew he had to turn everything up. Kira Mal Katiban is going to be your gold medal winner here in Salt Lake City. Noah Bracci, very, very respectable, taking the silver medal, although it feels like, anticlimactic to have fallen in the final run. That's still the silver medal. You earned your way into that race.
You did earn your way there, for sure. Big smiles, good hug from the athlete there. We watch our two first and second place of the podium finish up for the day.
Looking very clean. He didn't really slow down too much. He kept a pretty good time the whole way up. You see Noah slipped basically on the second move.
A lot of slips this round. There's many ways to go about it. It could be, now that we're into the season, the athletes are thinking, okay, it's time to turn it up. We know when you turn it up, when you're trying to push beyond you've ever pushed, then we're going to see these slips.
All right, we are going to head out and interview the winner, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get across the venue. We're on the opposite side from the floor, but we're going to catch up with interviews from your winners. Here is a look at your podium. Aleksandra Miroslav is going to be in the gold medal position, and then Aleksandra Kalutzka in the silver, and Natalia Kalutzka in the bronze position. Seeing that Poland take the podium. They will be happy about that, no doubt. And your podium on the men's side. Kirimal Katibian is going to be your gold medalist, and as we say, Noah Bracci with an unfortunate slip, but earned his way into that silver medal position. And then Vedrik Leonardo is going to take home the bronze medal here in Salt Lake City. So Indonesia, familiar spots on the podium, but maybe you see Vedrik a little disappointed not to have been in that gold medal round as he was in Korea. So that is going to do it for the event here. Stick around. We are going to have our interviews with those winners. Hear what goes on in the mind of a speed champion. As we have noted to you guys, there's a lot at play. We have technique, you have all of the training that goes into it, you have all of your muscle memory, and then you have the day of. So what can you put together when it matters? And that's what we see here, a few slips. We saw maybe the favorite on the day. John Brosler climbed very, very well today, put up 2 American records. I spoke with John a little bit earlier today, so although a little bit disappointed not to be in a medal position, he still holds the American record. He broke it twice today and took it down to 5.2 seconds. Let's hear what he had to say about speed climbing and this event.
All right, everybody, we are here just at the close of the speed qualification round, Salt Lake City World Cup 2022. I am with John Brosler. John, you just put down not 1, but 2 blisteringly fast qualifying rounds. You broke the American record twice in this qualifier. What has changed to get you going this fast in this event?
I mean, something that I had faith in my ability. I knew I could do it, and last week in Korea, or 2 weeks ago in Korea, I didn't quite execute, and that was kind of a bummer, but I readjusted for this comp and just trusted myself, and luckily it went well, so I'm psyched.
I would say not luckily at all. I would say there's a lot of skill. I know there's a lot of training that goes into this. How many days a week are you running the speed route full on, and how many times are you beating pieces of the puzzle together?
Yeah, it really depends throughout the season. Like lately I've been doing like every other day I'll speed climb, so that turns out to like 3 or 4 days a week, and then early in the season is kind of when I like work out my beta and stuff and really nail down like those sections, and then now it's just like execution and training for some power stuff, and so it's going well. I'm psyched.
So 5.2, you are very, very close to the current world record. That time would have beat last year's world record. Is there more in the tank, John? Are you able to go faster, and could it happen this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. That'd be cool. It's something that's on my mind for sure, but I think the best strategy is just going to be to run my race and try not to think about it too much and just do what I need to do each round, and have trust in my ability, and just whatever time is up on the board afterwards is extra.
I love that approach. It's not about setting a record, it's about winning each round. How does your approach change from the qualifier to the bracket to get into the final? Do you change your mentality at all? Walk us through a little bit of that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little more nerve-wracking because, I mean, you only get one chance, so it's just trying to like stay focused on the task at hand and not let one little slip or like previous races influence your next race. And if it goes well, then great. It's cool to use that for going into each next round, but if it doesn't, then just like brush it off and just trust that you've done it before and do it again.
Do you get boosted up a little bit by who you're beside? Like, do you have in the back of your mind what their best time is? And because now you just have to beat the person next to you. So does it matter who you're paired up against?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to ignore for sure. There are a lot of really talented athletes here. And so I notice that I tend to climb my best when I'm only focused on myself. But if I can like keep those thoughts on the back burner and just like do my routine no matter what, then at least I know that I've done everything I can do to make the best result happen.
Alexander Miroslav, fantastic win tonight at the Speed Club. How do you think it went?
Pretty good because I took gold, but I think that my finals could be better. But I'm really happy that I have second gold in a row in the World Cup.
Brilliant. And the question we're going to ask every week, do you think you can go faster?
Always I can go faster. But I think I will prepare for the European Championship in München in the August.
Ah, okay, yes, brilliant. So this is how do you think the rest of your season is going to go?
I will start in the next week also here, and then I will prepare to the European Championship. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Words from your champion. It's just a look at the speed wall. It's quite the sight. It's the tallest piece of our venue today, so the bouldering wall sits quite low. Of course, we're 15 meters on that speed wall. We're just going to go back now. So an interview with the men's winner from the speed event this evening.
Kirimal Khatibin, fantastic win tonight. How do you feel?
I feel so happy. I'm first champion in here, and I'm very happy. This for Indonesia country.
Yes, brilliant. And you're already a world record holder, but can you go faster?
I very happy. Big world record for me. And then I can fix it again.
Brilliant. I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much.
Kirimal Khatibin, this is his first gold medal, even though he is the world record holder. So there we have our podium shot. Alexandra Miroslav with your gold medal, followed by your silver medalist, Alexandra Kalutska, and then Natalia Kalutska in the bronze position. Good times all the way through, nothing blistering fast this evening, just enough to get it done. As we say, once we get into this round of 16, it is about being ahead of the person beside you. So we're not always going to see, world record approaching times. Sometimes we will, when both of those climbers know they need to go as fast as they possibly can. But today we saw pretty average times and a lot of really, really good races. As you see there, just even looking at the small final, very, very close. Less than 1/10 of a second. And on the men's side, it is as you walk your way through the bracket, you see John Brosler, came up against Noah Bracci in that quarterfinal round, and that let Noah come through into that big final. So Kirimal Khatibin is going to take home his first gold medal on the World Cup circuit. Noah Bracci his first podium on the World Cup circuit, and Vedrique Leonardo in the bronze medal position. An excellent night of racing.
A lot of dramatic slips. This is what I was very surprised to see. And just standing out there interviewing the athletes, it's deadly cold.
Yeah.
And I think this may have been a factor. When you're doing this explosive exercise, your muscles need to be warm and loose, and it's quite hard. We're here shivering. And this must really affect the athletes and their ability to perform.
And we're under a tent here. We're protected. There's a breeze going out there. So yeah, I believe you're right that when your hands get a little bit cold, maybe you're sort of losing some of that sensitivity and the contact strength as you come through. When the rubber on your boots gets a little bit cold, we all know when we're out trying to do the best we can. So when you're projecting, when you're trying to get that perfect attempt, everything you want to be perfect. You want maybe a little bit of sun, but not too much. You want your shoes to be warm, but not too warm. Out here, you need to deal with the elements as they're thrown at you. And, 15 meters up, the speed wall is tall, and it's windy, and it's entirely possible that they're just a little bit too cold tonight to run full power.
Potentially, but that is the beauty of the format, that even though maybe we're not seeing some of the fastest times in the world, we are seeing these magnificent head-to-head races, which are so dramatic. Amazing to watch.
You're right, and I was doing coverage for the youth speed in Canada, and the youth, while not putting up these kinds of times, are still very competitive with each other. So it's about who's beside you, and it's about putting those times up, and racing is exciting no matter what the final time block looks like. Here is your podium for the women.
And now for our bronze medalist, representing Poland, it's Natalia Kulicka.
Yep. All right, in your bronze medal position, Natalia Kulicka from Poland. Receiving her medal here. You see the jackets on.
It is a Polish sweep of the podium.
Yes, it is. They are on the men's side of the Indonesian climbers are crushing speed, and on the women's side, it is the Polish athletes who are putting up consistently the best times.
And next, the silver medalist, representing Poland.
Your silver medalist, Alexandra Kulicka. And you have to note here that in the US, the podium is made up of Yeti coolers.
Important note.
And they do get to take one home as well.
Would be quite expensive.
Very much so. Really cool. The little trophies here in Salt Lake City are a cutout of the Front Range, the mountains that surround the valley that we're sitting in.
It's a beautiful and almost overly dramatic venue.
It is. Your gold medalist completing the Polish sweep, Alexandra Miroslav, her 9th win of her career. She has been dominating speed climbing since she entered the scene.
She is, but still looking happy and grateful to be in that position, which is what we love to see.
Yeah, and as she said when you were speaking with her, maybe not the best night, but happy to come away with a gold medal. Cheer together for the podium.
Here we are, the team getting together, representing their country exceptionally well, you could say.
Something is working in the training system in Poland right now for speed climbing. Pause for the photos. I love this habit that we've gotten into in recent years of crowding the gold medal podium. A couple of times, of course, through the COVID events, we were very far away from each other, but it's great to see it come back and see everybody pop up on that gold medal podium for that last photo.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier when your teammates are the ones beside you, I would imagine.
It makes it a lot easier.
We go with our men's podium. It's an idea. We're getting a little past 9 o'clock this evening. Very dramatic out there with the lights on the wall. You know, it cuts a very cool skyline down here in the event venue. And there they are.
Very, very cool to see someone from home turf on the podium tonight. The crowd is pleased with that.
Your bronze medalist, Vedrika Leonardo. I love that we're giving the men flowers as well. I was watching something else and it came up and it was like, well, what do you mean we don't get flowers too? Why not? Something to put in your hotel room. And now we do have speed at the end of the week coming up. So in a week from now, we have another speed event. So these athletes are going to be around the city. Coming back for back-to-back speed. Your silver medalist from the USA, Noah Bracci.
Yeah, there is a lot of potential. This is the one time in the entire World Cup circuit that athletes would all be together in one place for such a long period of time. But it just is fully represented, the communal aspect of climbing. They're all training together. It's very social and communal.
And they'll even get out climbing outdoors. They've got enough time between the Boulder events and the, each of the speed events to get outside and do a little bit of climbing here in Salt Lake City. There's great climbing here. And here it is, your gold medalist, his first time standing on the top of the podium, your world record holder, Kiramal Katibin, gold medal here in Salt Lake City.
Definitely looked like he knew what he was doing throughout this competition. Looked almost routine autopilot. This athlete has the capacity and very much looked ahead of the game tonight.
Yeah, he did everything he needed to do in every round to get through, beat the person beside him, and end up here in the gold medal spot. All right, one last look at your podium from our first night on our back-to-back World Cups here in Salt Lake City. So that is going to do it for speed. An excellent night of racing. Thank you so much for your insight, for your analysis into this event this evening. And I'm looking forward to more. We have a lot going on. We have Boulder, we have paraclimbing in the middle of the week, Boulder and speed again next weekend.
A lot going on.
You're here for the week. Are you going to do any climbing while you're here?
Definitely going to have a go. Let's just see. But there's so much different opportunity here. Who knows where to go to first?
Yeah, there's a lot going on this week. Make sure you come back. Sunday is going to be semifinals and finals for the first Boulder event of the back-to-back weekends here in Salt Lake City. Thank you for watching. Pete Woods, for Danon Markey, that is going to do it for speed. Have yourselves a great night.
Qualifiers for Boulder starts 9 o'clock. You go